soccer.
Well,
Coach Gelderbat had a picture on their soccer Twitter feed of him in Messiah gear as his daughter is a senior.
I'd like to call our regular December meeting to order, please. First thing we have on the agenda is the roll call, please.
Mr. Offer?
Here.
Dr. Duvall?
Here.
Mrs. Flanagan?
Here.
Mr. Bradley?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Dr. Stampa?
Here.
And Mr. Zaire?
Here. At this time, I would request approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Flanagan, seconded by Dr. Duvall to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome our many visitors here this evening, particularly parents, grandparents, students. We're here tonight to celebrate the successes of our students. At this time, I'll ask Mr. Gravely to introduce our Pledge of Allegiance participant tonight.
Good evening. Mr. Leonard A. Ford, United States Air Force from 1962 to 1966, a member of the American Legion, Homer Post number 78, also a member of VSO, Virginia Service Organization. He is a member of the Martinsville-Henry County Veterans Honor Guard, Deputy Commander of the Martinsville-Henry County Veterans Honor Guard, and 2019 was recognized as Veteran of the Year. Please join me in acknowledging Mr. Leonard A. Boyce.
At this time, I'll ask Dr. Duvall to lead us in the invocation, and after that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the invocation. Holy God, we are thankful to be gathered here tonight. We're thankful for the gift of another day, a gift that you've made possible, and for the most precious gift of all, that of life that you've made possible. We give special thanks tonight for the ability and the responsibility of this board, our administrators, and certainly our staff and all of those who serve the young people in the schools of Henry County. We give thanks also for the opportunity tonight to recognize so many of our outstanding students and to see the good work they have done and continue to do in our schools. We add to that thanks for the parents, relatives, friends, guardians who may be with these young people tonight and who have provided the support, the inspiration to bring them to the place where they are here to receive this recognition. Bless us now as we go through this meeting. May our thoughts, our discussions, our actions always be aimed at bettering the opportunities that the young people in our schools have. Bless us now as we go through this night's meeting and in this season of good cheer. Bless us all to keep that in mind. Thank you. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have matters presented by the public. At this time, we have one speaker, Mrs. Carter. If you'd state your name, please. And
I'm Dorothy Carter. I'm HCEA president. And I want to speak to you in light of this week's decision by the City of Martinsville to go ahead with reversion. Henry County Education Association, HCEA, wants this board to know that HCEA and Martinsville Education Association, MEA, have already begun joint talks about how we hope the consolidation of schools will benefit every student and employee in Martinsville and Henry County. We're already promoting professionalism by acting as one, and will continue to do so in the best interest of all of our students and educators, whether they're from Henry County Public Schools or Martinsville City Schools. On behalf of the members of HCEA, I want to say thank you for placing employee compensation at the top of the budget development list. Thank you for looking at step increases for licensed and non-licensed employees, percentage increases for off-step employees, although I hope there's still an effort to put them on step, percentage increases for employees on administrative scales, and hourly increases for part-time employees. HCEA's goal in this budget process is that all employees will be on the correct step in the 2021 school year. As we close out this semester and look forward to a second semester where student success continues to be a priority, please remember that every day our employees keep students on step physically, nutritionally, emotionally, and academically. Please help your employees to feel valued by doing all you can to put everyone on step.
Thank you, Mrs. Carter. The next thing on our agenda is a resolution honoring Dr. DeVault, and Mrs. Flanagan has the honor of reading this resolution because she has served longer on this school board than anybody else with Dr. DeVault. So, Mrs. Flanagan.
On the occasion of the retirement from the Henry County School Board of Dr. Joseph DeVault, at-large board member, on December 31st, 2019, the school board recognizes the distinguished contributions made by Dr. DeVault to the youth and citizens of Henry County. With gratitude for his 12 years of service to Henry County schools, including service as chairman in 2013 and 2018, and his service as a principal, the Henry County School Board unanimously adopts the following resolution. Whereas Dr. DeVault has demonstrated commitment to excellence in meeting the educational needs of all citizens in Henry County, and whereas he provided leadership in meeting challenges with determination and perseverance while maintaining a focus on educational excellence, and whereas during his tenure on the Henry County School Board, the school system has experienced significant advances in academic achievement and school accreditation, while also making strides to close the achievement gap, and whereas Dr. DeVault has actively supported all facets of the school program, including equitable curriculum offerings, the implementation of a state-of-the-art technology program, the improvement of school facilities, and construction of Meadowview Elementary School, and the ability of intensive co-curricular and extracurricular programs for all students of Henry County. Now therefore be it resolved that the members of the Henry County School Board extend their thanks and appreciation to Dr. Joseph DeVault for his 12 years of service, and extend best wishes for the future, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution become an official part of the minutes of the School Board of Henry County. This resolution is adopted on the 12th day of December 2019 in Henry County, Virginia.
Thank you, Mrs. Flanagan. Before we vote on this resolution, I wanted to say a couple words, and our superintendent wanted to say a couple words, and after that, we'll open it up to any other board member that wants to make a couple comments. And thinking about what I was going to say, I really couldn't think of enough good adjectives to describe Dr. DeVault, and also to describe his long, stellar career in education. So to make a long story short, he made a recommendation to hire me back in 1974-75. He gave me a chance. He's always treated me with dignity and respect, like he's always treated everybody else with dignity and respect. And for that, I'll always be thankful to you, Dr. DeVault. I appreciate all you've done for me, what you've done for the Henry County school system. Thank you. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Z.
Well, my first memories of meeting Dr. DeVault was one summer when I was a very young child and I was still in elementary school. And my mom worked as the day maid and she needed to stop by the school, so I tagged along with her. And Dr. DeVault was there and he was organizing and working, but he took time out of his busy day to stop and come out in the lobby and speak to me. I can't remember exactly what he said that day, but I'll never forget how important and special he made me feel. I do remember he was wearing those striped athletic tube socks, and I thought he was so cool. And yes, I started to wear those tube socks so I could be just like him. And over the years, Dr. DeVault continued to be an influence in my life. I was fortunate to be a high school student at Jerry Mason, where he was the principal. We all knew how much he cared about the success of the school, the staff, and the students. He was regularly in classrooms, he talked to students, and he attended all events. His visible presence and his high expectations made a lasting impression upon me, motivating me to always want to make him proud. In my senior year, I was voted to be a representative on the homecoming court, which was a true honor. But I was most excited to be the student who was riding in Dr. DeVault's Corvette around the football field. Throughout my life, Dr. DeVault has always made me feel important and reassured me that if I worked hard, I could achieve any goal. When I became a school administrator, I knew I wanted to be just like him. Dr. DeVault is a wise servant leader who is humble, kind, understanding, fair but firm. He is always the calm in the storm. He carries himself with grace, dignity, and yes, he is cool. In recent years, I've talked to many fellow educators who have shared with me that Dr. DeVault also inspired their careers in education as he has mine. It has been an honor to serve as superintendent of the Henry County Schools and to work alongside you as you serve on the school board. I'm so thankful that the students, staff, and the people of Henry County have had the privilege of your leadership and guidance. I feel very fortunate to know Dr. DeVault and Mrs. DeVault. Dr. DeVault, you will be missed, but never doubt the number of people that you have inspired.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent, and it's now open to any other board member to make any other comment.
And I just want to say, along with Sandy, it has been my honor and pleasure to work with you during these years that we've been on the school board together. Your integrity is inspiring, and the students in Henry County are lucky to have had you here.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other board members?
I can't dare to come close to what Mrs. Strayer had to say or what you had to say, Mr. Zaire, or you as well, Mrs. Flanagan. But I will say that I will not forget when I first met Dr. DeVault. I didn't have the privilege of him as a principal of mine, but I was a student teacher, and I remember his words of encouragement and inspiration to me at that time. And I know that I'm one of quite a few that you have helped and touched throughout your legendary career, and it has been an honor and a privilege, and I will miss serving with you.
Thank you.
I think, you know how I feel. We
That's
talk.
how you feel. Thank you.
We talk. And just for the public record, we started out when Magna Vista was first opened. I was slated to go to Magna Vista to work with this gentleman, and I took a detour, went to Fidel Collinsville, so it didn't work out there. Then later on in my career, we talked, almost left Henry County and went to North Carolina with him, so that didn't work out. And so finally, we ended up on the board together. And like I said, you know how I feel about you, and I really appreciate all you've done.
Thank you, Mr. Radler. Your comments earlier that when we talked meant a great deal to me.
Okay, we need a.
Let me just say,
Go ahead, Doug.
I'm not sure if the person that Sandy and Mr. Z have talked about and these other people have talked about is the same person I know, but I want you to know that I do appreciate deeply your comments. I've been involved in the school business now for, I guess, almost 50 years. And as I look back, there's never been a day that I wished I had done something different. Thanks to everyone.
At this time, we need a motion to approve the resolution, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Archer, seconded by Dr. Stombaugh to approve the resolution honoring Dr. DeVault. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. At this time, we'll... The motion was unanimous. Thank you, Dr. DeVault. If everybody will come down front, we'll get a picture with the entire board, and Mrs. Flanagan will present the resolution to Dr. DeVault.
And we'd also like to ask Mrs. DeVault to join us for the photo.
You want us up on the stage? Mrs. Flanagan and Mrs. Strayer. On this side of Dr. DeVault. That's not the guy that's around out the picture. Oh, I get to stay inside of Mrs. DeVault.
If you want to share it with him. Thank you. Thank you. As you know, December is one of the times that we have the privilege to honor several student groups for their achievements during the first semester. And Dr. DeVault and Mrs. Strayer will be in the photo with the first group. That is Magna Vista High School's DECA group. These students achieved at the District 5 Leadership Conference. And so we'd like to ask them to come forward and accept a certificate and step onto the stage for a photo. And if their sponsor is with them, we'd love to have that person come up as well. Katie Tuggle, Kaylee Minter, Christy Crowder, Nate Lewis, Ebony Martin, Emily Westmoreland, Dayton Royster, Serena Francisco, Nick Page, if you'll step on the stage, Ayana Gray, Nakia Turner, and Josh Tusinger. And Mr. Gravely is going to join Mrs. Strayer for our next group of awards. Magna Vista High School's theater team recently participated in the Region 3D one-act play competition, and we'd like to recognize those students. Brianna Tatum, Mallory Burton, Wesley Powell Mullen, Shania Scales, Farron Clifton, Owen Amos, Tania Jones, Ashley Austin, Tykees Fitzgerald, Mackenzie Morrison, Kennedy Coleman, Ava Knight, Sarah Callum, Michael Thompson, Katie Tuggle, Ashley Austin, and Leanna Ferguson. You guys, I'm gonna need you to make 2 rows. So tall people in the back. Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Don. You can direct. Perfect. All right, now remember you have to smile until all of the cameras are done. Everybody ready? And before they all get comfortably back to their seats, there are some members of this same group who received individual honors at this particular event. Kennedy Coleman received an honorable mention for the Outstanding Actor Award. Tania Jones received an honorable mention for Outstanding Actor. Mackenzie Morrison, top 3rd Outstanding Actor, and Brianna Tatum, top Outstanding Actor of the Day. So we'd like to ask them to come and have another picture taken. Thank you, ladies. Mrs. Flanagan is going to join Mrs. Strayer for the next honor, and that comes from Magna Vista High School's marketing plan team. This team competed at the regional competition recently and won 2nd place overall. And students participating on that team are Claudia Phillips, Jasmine Hamlet, and Sydney Cruz. Thank you. We're also pleased this evening to honor another regional competitor. Sean Foley is a cross-country team member at Bassett High School, and Sean earned honorable mention for all region this year. Also earning all region honors this year, Mr. Martin is going to join Mrs. Strayer to honor this group. We had 2 students who were recognized from Bassett High School's volleyball team for all region. Tabitha Hall earned honorable mention, and Allie Lane earned second team all region honors. And we're going to ask Dr. DeVault to come up one more time to recognize students participating and being honored the Bassett High School Competition Cheerleading All-Region Honors. And this year there were 2 team members from the competition team who earned second team All-Region from Bassett High School. And those students are Sierra Gilbert and Autumn Hall. And I'll ask Mr. Zaire and Mr. Alker to join us for the remainder of the recognitions. Magna Vista High School's ROTC Raider team, as you know, has a long history of achievement, and tonight we're recognizing their state championship. Members of the Raider team include Trinity Davis, Marco Duarte, Amelia Hubbard, Marky Martinez, Enrique Ocampo, Victoria Pritchett, Colby Quigg, Caitlin Silvers, and Aaron Wood. We probably need you all to make 2 rows as well. Make sure you can see me.
Just like, oh, thank you for everything.
Mr. Singer, I'm going to ask you to step around to make sure we can see you.
You want me where?
I would like for you to please step around with Mr. Alker. Thank you.
A to Z with Mr. Auger.
That's right. All right, and you'll move out just a little bit so Mr. Alker can come up. We want it to be perfect. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Magna Vista High School's FFA chapter also recently competed in some state competitions, and the Food Science CDE state contest had several winners from our group. Haley Chitwood earned 4th place. Claudia Phillips, 9th place, Hannah Mace, 12th place, and Erica Stanley, 13th place. Our Career Academy's forestry team had the honor of competing at the state fair recently, and they earned 3rd place. Students in that group include Tanner Roach, Logan Peters, Clay Coleman, and Cooper Owen. We're also very pleased this evening to recognize 2 young ladies you may have seen in the news lately. Each year, students have the opportunity to apply and earn a scholarship to purchase their own cattle. It's very unusual for students from the same region to earn this award together, let alone from the same school division. So it's a high honor for the 2 winners this year to come from Henry County. Michaela Dillon is a student at Bassett High School, and Sadie Perry is a student at Magna Vista. Mr. Harris will come help you. Also widely renowned, not just in our state, but nationwide, is the Bassett High School Marching Band. And as you know, their competition band is well renowned for their shows, the beauty, the artistry, and the music as well, not just that beauty and the artistry. So tonight we want to recognize their state championship. And I'm going to call all of the band members' names, so bear with me, but there is a certificate for each one of them. And those who are present, please do come and stand on the stage. Caitlin Barber, Addison Bologna, Kirsten Booth, Hunter Boyd, Kaylin Bray, Jeremiah Bullard, Alexandra Campbell, Lauren Carter, Jenny Castro, Joseph Castro, Dylan Chappell, Dakota Clark, Lindsay Clark, Aaliyah Cobb, Miriam Coleman, Carly Compton, Katie Cox, Aaliyah Craig, Aaron Crow, Jasmine Dabbs, Caroline Davis, Kayla Dix, Brendan Easley, Madison Ferguson, Joseph Flores, Hunter Foley, Trajan Fuller, Treva Gann, Nicholas Gold, Jacob Gray, Belle Griffith, Lydia Hackbart, Rachel Haygood, Kimora Hairston, Savannah Hairston, Christian Hall, Raya Hall, Bailey Harbor, Madison Harbor, Ann Catherine Harris, Ryan Harrison, Owen Hayes, Angelina Hester, Christina Hester, Destiny Hodges, Allison Hunley, Alexis Hunt, Jesus Jimenez, Nathan Johnson, Evan Joyce, Reagan Joyce, Tamaj Kellum, Kiara Kennedy, Caitlin Kaiser, Josh Landon, Ashley Langhorn, Ellen Manzano, Kaylee Martin, Kira Martin, Tori Martin, Madison Mays, Jeremiah McDaniel, Isaac McKissick, Gage Metters, Jenna Metters, Christopher Mendoza, Ava Meyer, Ryan Miller, Aaron Mitchell, Amber Morgan, Cameron Morgan, Elijah Naff, Zach Nylander, Anna Ozenkowski, Lyric Parker, Colton Parks, Madison Parks, Mercedes Pate, Bethany Payne, Angel Penn, Nolan Popowitz, Emily Ramirez, Gracie Ratcliffe, Madeline Reynolds, Ava Richardson, Stephanie Rodriguez, Madison Ross, Noelia Santiago, Christian Sarabia, Jonathan Sarabia, Mackay Scales, Mackenzie C., Cannon Seachrist, Leslie Silva, Aaliyah Smith, Cayenne Spencer, Faith Sprinkle, Kaylee Stewart, Asia Taylor, Maya Taylor, Seth Turner, Clarissa Ty, Fabiola Vasquez, Giselle Vasquez, McKinley Verlick, Emma Warren, Charlotte Wells, Charity Whitfield, Chas Whitfield, Gavin Whitlow, Kennedy Wilkins, Haley Ray, Cicely Young, and Alan Zuniga. Now, can we ask the front row to step on the floor? The next row to please kneel, step up and kneel, and hopefully that way we can get everyone in the photo. Oh yeah, you might have to. You may have to stand up because not everybody's tall enough to do it. All right, just make sure you're in a window and that you can see. Can everybody see the grown-ups over here who want to take your picture? Make sure you smile the whole time, okay? Keep your smile on the whole time. Well, Mike hasn't. It's not interesting. Our final recognition for this evening, I'd like to ask Mr. Mentor to come and share with us. The school division was recently recognized by the ACT Summit.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It is with great honor that I was able to be recognized and accept the ACT Work Ready Community Maintain Award for our community. We were one of 48 other participating ACT Work Ready communities recognized for workforce development achievement at the ACT Work Summit in Charlotte. ACT is a mission-driven nonprofit organization dedicated to helping people achieve education and workplace success. They're grounded in over 60 years of research and is a trusted leader in college and career readiness solutions. It is now my honor to present you with this award, and thank you.
They're leaving, so, that's a good one.
At this time, we'll move to our information agenda, and Mrs. Hatchett has the first item on that agenda.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. As you know, it's time to begin planning for next school year and to determine what our calendar will look like. On October 1st, we distributed a survey in our staff newsletter, and then on October 14th, we distributed social media surveys through various venues for members of the community and asked for their feedback on priorities for the calendar. We then held a calendar committee meeting on October 21st and discussed the priorities for each of our groups: staff, parents, students, and community members who shared their feedback with us. For 3 of those 4 groups, the top priority was to begin school on a Wednesday because they felt that it was easier to transition by doing that. Several groups also mentioned priorities as maintaining the Wednesday before Thanksgiving as a student-teacher holiday, because we know a lot of families travel on that day, and to maintain a week-long spring break if possible, given the fact that it's potentially going to be shortened due to weather. Following that meeting, we issued an additional survey to our staff members. Because it's important to a lot of our staff and students in particular to end the first semester before winter break, we always begin with December and work backwards, just like our teachers do when they're planning their lessons. They begin with that end in mind. And we know that we need 90 days in each semester. But in order to accomplish that in this particular calendar, it was going to be really tight for the first semester. It would have actually, to have a Wednesday start, would have pushed us into getting out of school for the winter break on December 22nd, which a lot of people were a little uncomfortable with. So we issued 2 potential calendars to our staff and asked them to respond to a survey, and essentially the changes or differences in those 2 calendars were: begin school on August 10th and end school for the first semester on December 18th, which is a Friday, or begin school on Wednesday, August 12th, and end school on December 22nd, which is a Tuesday, and very close to the traditional Christmas holiday. Overwhelmingly, our staff responded that they preferred the Monday start. We had over 1,000 people to vote on that particular question. 1,020 people said that they preferred the Monday start. 96 people said that they preferred to begin on that Wednesday. We have also surveyed our local colleagues. Pittsylvania County, Danville City, and Martinsville all are proposing calendars that begin on Monday. None have yet approved, but that is the calendar that they plan to work with as well. So our partners would be right in line with a Monday start. Many of our teachers anecdotally said that a Monday start would work in this instance because they knew what was happening in December and the stress that it might cause to end the semester closer to the Christmas holiday would be difficult. So that is why tonight we are presenting for your information and then for your consideration over the next month to approve in January. Draft A is what we've been calling it, and it is a calendar that proposes a Monday start of school.
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Mrs. Hatchett.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mrs. Langdon up.
Good evening. We have just a few policies that are being recommended for revisions at this meeting. Revisions to school board policies reflect efforts to bring school board policies into compliance with new or existing laws. They are found in board docs under draft policies, and here's just a brief summary of the changes. Policy EFB, food services, is being revised to incorporate portions of policy JHCH, school meals and snacks, since that policy is now being deleted, as well as to reflect the fact that Henry County Schools does provide free breakfast and free lunch to all students, regardless of their financial status under the Community Eligibility Program. The Virginia School Boards Association has recommended updates to policy JHCF, student wellness, based on conversations with the Virginia Department of Education. This policy is also being revised to incorporate portions of policy JHCH, school meals and snacks, which again is being deleted. Policy KBE, internet privacy, is being revised to reflect the information Henry County Schools collects through its website and how it is collected. Information collected through the school division website is used to provide visitors to the site with a better user experience on both the website and mobile applications. Policy revisions will be presented to the board for approval at the January 2020 school board meeting. Are there questions?
I have one, since we're going to approve it in January. I just want to make sure I'm clear. With the new policy, and in that first paragraph, I guess, under the new policy, that last sentence, Henry County does not sell, share, or disseminate your information unless it is required. I guess my question is, do we sell information? Under what conditions do we sell?
Okay. Mr. Gravely is referring to policy KBE, internet privacy. The wording that's being used in, the proposed wording that's being used in that policy actually comes directly from the policy that we have with Blackboard, which is our website vendor, and Blackboard does provide websites for many school divisions. That wording basically covers any type of situation in which we would have to sell information. Those would be very, very limited, situations. But for example, if we were required by law to provide information to a government entity and we were given any service or minimal processing fee for providing that information to them as required by law, that would be considered selling. We do not, in general, collect data, specific user names or anything like that through our website. So in some cases, if information might be pulled by the website provider and sold, as they have to do that, it would generally probably be aggregate data, such as how many people are coming to the site and what portions of the site they're actually viewing.
I was curious, are we selling?
It would be very limited, as it says. It would only, data would only be sold and only if there was a requirement for that to happen.
Any other questions from Mrs. Langdon? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have the consent agenda. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. DeVault, seconded by Mrs. Flanagan, to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. We move to the action agenda. I think Mrs. Roop is up first.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Henry County Public Schools Parent Advisory Committee is comprised of parents of students with or without disabilities, teachers, administrators, and community partners. Each year, the membership of our Special Education Advisory Committee are voted on by the school board. It's recommended that the school board approve the following SEAC memberships: Ashley Bagwell as president, Angela McKissick as vice president, Zena Smith as secretary, myself as the school board liaison, as well as my coordinator, Jeanette Hurd. And then parents of students with disabilities or teachers or community partners are as follows: Latoya Brown, Sarah Nelson, Connie Mitchell, Jerry Bird, Kayla Looney, and Charlie Deal. Fiscal impact is really negligible. It is 100% reimbursable. We do use 6B funds if we provide refreshments or something of that nature for our people that attend the meetings. We hold them quarterly, and these are the people that have submitted application for consideration for membership this year. So I do need you guys to vote, please.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Gravely, seconded by Mr. Martin to approve the board. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you, Mrs. Rubin. Next, we have band uniforms. Mrs. Milner.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Bassett High School and Magna Vista High School are preparing to purchase new band uniforms to be worn starting in the 2020-2021 school year. Loudoun County Public Schools currently holds an RFP with DeMolin Brothers and Company and will allow Henry County Public Schools to piggyback pricing from that RFP number R17128. It is recommended that the school board approve the purchase of band uniforms using the pricing from RFP R17128 from Loudoun County Public Schools and piggyback this pricing for the entire duration of the active contract. The fiscal impact is an estimate of $30,000.
I would like to say one thing, that both band directors wanted to thank the board, because if you remember back in the summer of 2014, we were buying band uniforms every 10 years, and the motion was made by Dr. Stanbaugh to change that to every 7 years, so they are very appreciative of being able to get uniforms quicker than they had before.
And this is gonna take care of all the band members in both schools?
No, that's the band.
$30,000?
It doesn't, I mean, it does
15
not. It doesn't buy everything, but the parents will
Just
fundraise.
the bibs, you know, the basic pieces of the band uniform.
But they change with the shows and add.
Move to approve.
Second.
The motion is made by Dr. Stombaugh. Motion is made by Dr. Stombaugh, seconded by Mr. Ocker to purchase the uniforms. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you. Ms. Durham, you're up next.
Good evening, members of the board. The school board annually approves high school course offerings by adopting the high school program of studies. The program of studies outlines the course descriptions and general policies about the high school program of instruction. There were no major changes made this year to the programs and courses offered. Modifications were made, mostly grammatical and aesthetics. A few changes that were included are the addition of the cybersecurity courses that we'll offer at the Career Academy if it's approved in the FY 2021 budget, and the addition of PHCC's ACE Health Sciences track. There were also some updates to PHCC's Academy course offerings for motorsports, the IDEA Academy, and criminal justice. And there were some other updates to our academic and career plan section, and it reflects the implementation of Major Clarity, which is a software program we purchased, and it's used to help develop students' academic plans digitally. Included in the attachments, you can see a detailed list of each change that was made, a strike-through version, and the final draft, reflecting all the revisions that were made. Once approved, the program of studies will be sent electronically via school messenger to all parents and guardians. Paper copies will be available upon request if needed. And there is no physical impact for this for the 2020-2021 program of studies. It is recommended that the board approve the 2020-2021 high school program of studies.
Questions or comments?
Just a question.
Yes.
Do we have online courses available for students
Yes, sir.
to
Yes, sir. And that is in, we don't list every online course inside the program of studies, but we do have a statement that we can, they can contact their guidance counselor, and it's approved by the school principal. We use Virtual Virginia, which is through the state of Virginia, so we have access to online courses if needed, yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the high school program of studies.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Alker, seconded by Dr. Duvall, to approve the high school program of studies. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous.
I also have the next one, the same as you do for the high school program of studies, you'll also need to approve the middle school program of studies. There were no major adjustments made to this one either. Modifications made were mostly grammatical and aesthetic. Updates did include the academic and career plan section that reflects the implementation of major clarity. And you also have the attachments that include a detailed list of all the grammatical changes and strike-throughs that we've made. And there's also attached a final draft. Once approved, this program of studies will also be sent electronically via school messenger to all parents and guardians, so there's no cost attached. Paper copies are available. If our parents have requested and need that, we will provide that as well. It is recommended that the board approve the 2020-2021 middle school program of studies.
Questions or comments? Question,
Yes, sir.
Since I missed the last one, but it's on this one too, the major clarity. I know we used to use Virtual Virginia for academic plan. There's no I know you said there's no cost for the program, but is it a cost involved with this? Because Virtual Virginia, I don't think we paid anything.
Yes, sir, there is a cost for major clarity. Mrs. Miller or Mr. Mentor can tell us exactly the cost of that program. I don't know. She has it.
The cost for 6 through 12 is $5,900. Every student, and they'll be able to use it for their entire career with Henry County and then beyond. And what it does is it lays out a digital plan, academically and career plan for students, all of our students. And they'll be able to use it 6 through 12 and then on after that for college recommendations. It does college research for them. It allows them to look at the job they want to go into and reinforces that with the academics that they would need to go into that job field. We've already purchased it. We purchased it prior, yeah.
Is it a better platform than Virtual Virginia?
Yes,
It is a lot better platform. It's more up to date.
We're hearing lots of positive feedback, and as you know, we're in the Go Virginia Region 3, and the schools that are in the Go Virginia Region 3, and they are all using it and moving towards major clarity.
I make a motion that we approve the 2020-2021 middle school program of studies.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Flanagan, seconded by Mr. Gravely, to approve the middle school program of studies. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Durham. Next, we have Mr. Kia Scott up.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Last year, we began a three-step process to upgrade the stage and auditorium lighting at both of our high schools with assistance from the changes that occurred with the Title IV grant. As we continue with this plan, Stage Sound of Roanoke, Virginia, which is the same group that did our work last year, has provided a proposal for the second phase of this work with a total of $65,147.36. Stage Sound holds a contract with the Virginia Association of State College and University Purchasing Professionals, which allows us to piggyback on this contract for purchasing this equipment. So it's recommended that the contract be awarded to Stage Sound for the next phase of lighting upgrades in the amount of $65,147.36 using the VASCUP contract number 705-8821-15J.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Stombaugh, seconded by Mr. Martin, to approve this request. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Go ahead, Mr. Scott.
Okay, as we continue our efforts assessing safety in and around our schools, one item from our list is a new car rider loop for Laurel Park Middle School. If you've ever visited that, currently we're using the car riders line up in front of the building using a temporary stanchion with the plastic chain, which is difficult to maintain and creates unsafe conditions for arrival and dismissal times. This was used as a temporary fix until we got this permanent line in. So creating a permanent solution for our car rider traffic would be a much safer atmosphere for our students and staff. And Asphalt Consultants Incorporated of Salem, Virginia, has provided a proposal for construction of a connector road on the right side of the building to be used as a more permanent solution for car riders with a not-to-exceed amount of $40,000. ACI currently holds a contract with Henry County, which will allow us to piggyback for this project. So it's recommended that a contract be awarded to Asphalt Consultants Incorporated in the amount of not to exceed $40,000 to construct a new car rider loop as described above.
On the right, what's going, is this what we've been around the back of the school?
Yes, sir. It'll connect on the current driveway that comes in on the right-hand side. It'll go through that double gate and then
Right.
come on around the right side of the school and connect to the existing asphalt around back of the school.
Would that be completed during the summer when school's not in session?
It's a good possibility they can start on that this spring. We're depending on how this goes and when we get in line with their projects, because most of the asphalt plants are closed during the wintertime, but where we fall in line with their projects, they may start as early as spring, but worst case would be summertime, yes, sir.
And Ms. Hilton's in the back of the auditorium, and she's hoping that the weather stays warm and that she can get it as soon as possible.
I know, and Ms. Hilton probably can address this, not to put you on the spot. But I know in past, when baseball games went on, did we still allow traffic to go down through those double gates and park back on that side? How's that going to affect?
Right, that road going down towards the baseball field will still exist. It'll just Y off to the left-hand side and go around the building for the car rider loop.
Right. But I mean, people would stand on the hill there, or I've seen people park on the hill. Would it be a fence or something to separate the hillside from that car rider line?
No, sir. Now that's not our plan. Now, I haven't been to a baseball game down there to see this piece,
Right.
but by recollection, typically where this car rider loop's going to fall in through, if they're standing on that hill that close to the line, they can't see the baseball field from there because the concession stand would block their view from where this is going to go through. This is going to be, you remember the buildings, the outbuildings?
Yeah, the outbuildings.
It's going to be really, really close to where they're located.
Okay.
We have to take down a tree in that area, but other than that, we'll be in good shape.
Okay. I'm just concerned talking about safety, because I know, well, okay.
And I've actually got, if you'd like, I've got a visual here. It's kind of a hand sketch. I can share this with you if you like. You can pass it around to show the directions. That's existing.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you're gonna keep the buildings back there, I see.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I see.
One of them.
Right. Okay, yeah, all right. I got it.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we award this contract for installation of a new car rider loop at Laurel Park Middle School.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Walker, seconded by Mr. Gravely, to approve the rider loop at Laurel Park Middle School. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Scott.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have superintendent's reports.
We're going to start with our video, and Ms. Atkins, I think, is getting ready to play that.
The December edition of Superintendent's Highlights features events from around the district during the month of November. In the area of high-quality instruction, second graders at Axton used a observation of 2 garden beds to compare and contrast shape, size, color, and overall health of green and purple cabbages. Teachers and students are sure to emphasize the use of adjectives that students must include in their writing. Students were excited by the visit of a new friend, a white cabbage butterfly, as they began learning about the life cycle of butterflies. The 3rd grade class at Campbell Court Elementary recently made a visit to the Greensboro Science Center. There were multiple opportunities for students to get hands-on with many STEM-related activities. Also, the students love seeing all of the live animal exhibits that help them understand how well animals are adapted to their surroundings. The students were then treated to a class that went over what animals need in order to be successful in their surrounding environment. Students in Ms. Wood's 4th grade class at Meadowview have been learning about fact and opinion. Students participated in a mingle, pair, share activity recently. This activity gave students an opportunity to analyze statements from classmates as fact or opinion. The ability to distinguish between fact and opinion helps students develop their critical and analytical skills in both reading and listening. Many of the 4th and 5th grade students at Rich Acres participate in the Go Far Club, which they set running goals and learn about healthy lifestyles. While in this club, students trained diligently for a 5K. All of their hard work paid off recently when they competed in a 5K race. They learned to be healthy while having fun. Jan Brockman's class at Stanleytown has been learning about the first Thanksgiving. They listened to 2 books, and preschoolers then talked about the foods that were eaten by the American Indians and Pilgrims on the first Thanksgiving. Mrs. Brockman brought in ears of Indian corn, ears of field corn, and popcorn for the students to compare and contrast. To end the unit, the class popped the ears of corn in a brown paper bag for everyone to taste. Mrs. Hyatt's students at Laurel Park Middle School have created and remixed snowflakes for 3D printing on the MakerBot printer. Students enjoyed the hands-on experience that ended with a completed project. Additionally, the collaboration between students focused on the fundamentals of 3D printing. Students in Mrs. Ashby's class at Magna Vista have been creating phylogenetic trees of animals. Student groups were given a particular animal, but each group then created their own classification system to explain to their peers. At Center for Community Learning, students and staff hold a Monday meeting each week, which is normally led by Mr. Dillard, but a student volunteered to lead recently. Leif Hughes did a fantastic job leading the meeting, and another student was then motivated to lead the following week. This is a great sign of growing self-confidence in the area of family and community engagement. Several students were recently recognized from George Washington Carver Elementary as winners of Horse Pasture Ruetan Club's Patriotism Essay Contest. Samville's 4th grade students held an I Am Thankful night. 4th graders selected people or an individual for whom they were thankful. They wrote about that person, then they read their papers to their families and friends. Mount Olivet's 2nd graders honored veterans on Veterans Day by writing thank you notes and creating a thank you banner to share with members of the community. FC Middle School recently held an exhibition night, during which students shared what they are learning in class and the awesome programs that are available to them as middle schoolers at FC Middle School. Career Academy has hosted students and parents participating in EL Family Literacy Nights. Thursday nights, Henry County staff members work with students and parents on language, reading, and math skills throughout the year. There is an average of 13 individuals working to improve conversation and communication skills that will help students and parents in school and in their daily lives. Students in Career Academy's Small Animal Care and Vet Science class had many four-legged friends stop by for grooming this month at the Career Academy. Students worked with the community to ensure that the needs of both the customer and their friend were met. This was a first attempt at working with multiple animals, and the group successfully had 7 animals come through, with only one who had to visit the principal's office. As always, our students and staff continue to be inspired.
Well, we have to say that the little puppy who was in the principal's office happened to belong to Mr. Mentor, and it was his office. So if you have any questions on any of the highlights or the reports, please let me know.
Okay, next we have matters presented by the board. I need to bring to the board's attention, this holiday season, December the 23rd is on a Monday. And of course, the building will be closed down on Tuesday and Wednesday for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. The two boards, the Board of Supervisors and the School Board, have always tried to coordinate things together. And I did talk to Henry County Administration, Mr. Hall and Mr. Wagner. And it's my understanding that Chairman of the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Adams, is going to recommend that the Board of Supervisors employees be given Monday, December 23rd off. And so if the school board does the same thing, we can shut the building down. It makes no sense to heat it for one day and then shut it down for 2 more days. Because when the building's not in session, they cut the heat way back. So I would hope that the board would make a motion granting our employees December 23rd as a holiday.
I would make that motion that we grant our employees December 23rd as a holiday.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Graves. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. We'll start with Mr. Walker, or matters presented by the board, if anybody has anything they'd like to bring up.
I appreciated the awards this evening. I thought it was great, and especially the band, being a band parent at one time, and all of the success that they have had.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Dr. DeVault.
I'll just reiterate my thanks to the board and to Mrs. Strayer for the plaque, and give you thanks for the privilege of serving as a member of this board. I know that within the next few years there will be some very tough decisions to be made, and I'm confident that knowing the members of our board and the makeup of our administration, I know that those decisions will always be guided by what is best for our students.
Thank you, Dr. DeVault. Mrs. Flanagan.
I just would like to say a very heartfelt Merry Christmas to all you guys that work so hard. Get some rest and be ready to go when you get back.
Thank you. Dr. Stombaugh. Mr. Martin.
Well, first, I wanted to thank Mr. Minner for speaking on the Career Academy recently to the Martinsville-Henry County Lions Club. I want to thank the Bassett High School Beta Club for volunteering and supporting the Brenda Riggins Memorial Blood Drive that we had at Patrick Henry Community College last Saturday. We got about another 5 gallons donated. And I want to thank everyone who's reached out in support and prayers for my dad and my family.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Gravely.
Just like to make the board aware, about a week ago, I was invited to attend a meeting, community meeting in my district, Sandy Level, and was invited by the sheriff. And we had a very good meeting there. Garrett Dillard, I introduced him. I see Garrett in the back as our community liaison. Ms. Whitlow, newly elected board member, attended. And I share that with you because one of the conversational pieces that the community was concerned about is, of course, drugs in our community as well as in our schools. So, you know, from my approach, I shared some information on preventive measures that we do a very good job with in our schools. You know, we have a number of resources, a number of other agencies that we work with, and I just wanted to, you know, I shared that with the community. They were very receptive, very pleased with what we're doing in our schools to curtail just drug use altogether, you know. So I just wanted to make the board aware of a productive meeting that we had in that community. And again, the whole approach was, what is it that we're doing in our schools to prevent drug use?
Thank you, Mr. Gravely. At this time, I'll ask the superintendent to explain the award that the board won at the recent conference in Williamsburg.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, members of the board. 6 Virginia school divisions were recognized in the Excellence Risk Management Award that was presented by VACOR at the VSBA annual conference, and Henry County Schools was recognized for our Workers' Comp Award in that category for having no workers' comp issues, and we always talk about safety, and I think that went to speak for the boards for everything that, like you said, everyone does in our schools to help make sure that we're safe and preventing injuries for staff and students.
Thank you, Mrs. Strayer. Quick reminder of meetings on December the 17th. There'll be a swearing-in ceremony for new school board members and re-elected school board members, so be sure you attend if you're in that category. It's 6 o'clock on December. That's next Tuesday night. And our next regular monthly meeting will be January the 2nd at 6 p.m., and the other meetings in the future are listed on your agenda. At this time, we're going to have a little reception for Dr. DeVault right over here. You're all invited. And then we're going to go upstairs for a brief budget update meeting. We will adjourn from upstairs after our closed session. So at this time, we're going to celebrate with Dr. DeVault and Mrs. DeVault. Thank you very much.